I'm Leslie Wegener from the La Crosse Area League of Women Voters. This recording project is being done in partnership with 3 other nonpartisan organizations: the La Crosse Area Chamber of Commerce, the La Crosse Area Development Corporation, and UWL's Department of Political Science and Public Administration. Together, our Civic Engagement Coalition seeks to encourage voter interest and participation in the upcoming mayoral election. And we also want to give La Crosse voters the opportunity to learn about each candidate and their views on local issues impacting our community. The format is an informal one-on-one Q&A session between each candidate and Chamber CEO Beth Franklin. Each candidate will be asked the same questions in the same order. We developed the questions to cover a range of topics and have asked the candidates to keep their answers concise so we can cover as many as time allows. They have not received the questions in advance, and candidate responses will not be edited for content. At the end, you'll find more information about election dates and where you can check on your voter registration and what's on your ballot. Your vote is your power, and it takes all of us exercising that power to make democracy work. Thank you for watching.
It is my pleasure to welcome Shaundel Washington-Spivey, who is running for the next mayor of the city of La Crosse. Shaundel, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So just want to start by thanking you for being part of this conversation project amongst these candidates, and want to start by asking, tell us a little bit about yourself and what is motivating you to run for the next mayor of the city of La Crosse.
Yes, so as you said, I'm Shaundel Washington-Spivey. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I moved to La Crosse in 2007 for school, where I attended UWL, or the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, and since then, I've been involved in a lot of volunteering in the community organizing. I've also currently serve as the executive director for Black Leaders Acquiring Collective Knowledge, also known as Black for short, a nonprofit that I started in 2016 with a group of friends. And since then, we've just kind of been doing a lot of work in the community, making folks aware around, cultural identity, cultural history, working with a lot of youth and things of that nature. The reason I'm running for mayor, I get asked that quite a bit, and it's comforting because I feel like people care and they see my passion. And so the reason I'm running for mayor of La Crosse specifically is because when I decided to set roots here in this community, a lot of it was around truly making sure that I was working to bring communities together. And also, one, my background and bringing communities together to solve issues in RC where opportunity gaps are is really important. I think I've served as a leader in this community for some time now. I've thought about running for mayor for years, and I've had conversations with folks close to me about that. And I think now is the time for me to step up, not just sit by and watch, but truly get engaged and involved and see myself in a position that allows me and working with the community that I've worked with to cast a vision for the city.
Thank you. So our first question, if elected, what are your top 3 priorities for your first term as mayor?
So top 3 priorities. As I started my campaign, I was doing these community action roundtables and connecting with community members. I've been knocking on doors, talking to the community members and other leaders in the community. And so the top 3 priorities that come up for me are housing, right? So addressing the issue of affordable housing, having a variety of housing so that we can attract and retain, communities and families and youth in this area, but additionally is working with our unhoused and unsheltered. And so really emphasizing the Pathways Home program and making sure that the city is committed, truly committed to making sure that program is effective and following it with fidelity. In addition to that, I guess my second issue would be making sure that the community comes together along with the Common Council and the mayor's office to ensure that we hire a city administrator and make sure that we do that in a way that makes sense for La Crosse. And then the third one would be, I think, community engagement and getting folks back involved and the issues of lacrosse and making sure that we're coming up with valuable solutions to ensure that our community and everyone in our community feels heard, valued, respected, and safe.
Good. Thank you. What are some current city initiatives or policies that you plan to support and sustain?
Yes. So as I said, Pathways Home, I think, is one that has gotten a lot of traction, and also I think is essentially something that would help us in the issue around unhoused and unsheltered individuals. And the one thing that I really truly appreciate about Pathways Home is the collaborative effort, right, between the city, the county, the nonprofit organizations, the businesses, and we're all coming together to say that, hey, here is an issue that we've watched over the last several years, and we recognize that it's growing and that we need to come together to solve it. And so I think anything that has that approach to it, where we're bringing community together to say like, hey, this is our city, this is our home, we want to build it up, and we want to make sure that everybody feels, have compassion for our unhoused and unsheltered individuals, make sure that everybody feels safe and respected and valued again. And so I just, that will be one. Additionally, I think continuing the efforts of thinking and around what it looks like for the city of La Crosse to have a city administrator, I think is a big thing, as well as the developments, right? So we have a lot of developments happening in the city with the goal of like, how are we enhancing and growing our city? And so making sure that we're continuing those efforts as well.
Good. Thank you. How can the city of La Crosse increase its appeal as a place to work, live, or raise a family? In other words, how do we attract more long-term residents and fewer commuters?
Yeah, so obviously this is something I probably know a little bit about as someone who, transitioned here for college. And when I came here for college, I will admit, like, I was very adamant, I'm getting my degree and I'm leaving. I'm not staying in La Crosse. You're not keeping me here, right? But essentially what happened is I grew to love this community, right? Like being out in the community, again, volunteering and like having different jobs and responsibilities, even as a college student, attracted me to this area, right? Not to mention the nature and the beauty, right? So we know that La Crosse has the appeal, right? Like when folks get here, they want to stay here. They're attracted to this place. And so I think we have to hone in on what are the best qualities of La Crosse and highlight those across the state and across the nation. And then additionally, we have to make sure that we're working with our businesses, our community organizations, our private organizations to say, what can we do to ensure that when people come here, they feel like they belong and they can call this home?
Absolutely. Thank you. So you did mention a little bit about city administrator, so I'll ask if there are any ways that you want to expound on that. So the question is, the current mayor and city council have discussed adding a city administrator position, then postponed the issue for further study. What is your view on the city of La Crosse adding a city administrator position? Anything else you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I would tell you that that is one issue myself, my team, and they had to work with me as well. I debated back and forth about, should we have a city administrator? What's the pros, the cons, the benefits, et cetera? And ultimately, I've come to the conclusion that I support La Crosse having a city administrator. And the reason is because I think that, or I know that based on research, there's pieces around efficiency, right? So making sure that your government is efficient, the constituents being able to see that the government and the city office is working for them, right? And responding in a way that they need. I think the other piece is responsible financial management. And that's a big thing, right? I think, a lot of folks have talked about the deficits, budgets, et cetera. And the reality is if we can have someone that can help us, that's a city administrator, come in and, make sure that we're being responsible with our money, I think that's important. Okay. The other piece for me is that the constituents would be able to see that the government is, again, working for them, but then also see that we are reducing, our financial operations and our budget. And on top of that, I really think that a large part of whatever we do in the city administrator realm is, again, going to be us. So myself as mayor, the Common Council, the community coming together and saying, what does this actually look like for us and how do we make it work for us? We know that surrounding cities have city administrators. They've been able to see the benefit of a city administrator. And then I think it's up to us in La Crosse to figure out how can we make this city administrator work for us.
Good, thank you. With the city of La Crosse being the county seat for La Crosse County and neighbors with several other cities like Onalaska, Holmen, and West Salem, how do you view the mayor's role when it comes to intergovernmental cooperation, working with neighboring communities?
So it's no secret that La Crosse is the city. You know, we have our surrounding cities, but a lot of folks come to La Crosse for a lot of things. And I think it's really important for us to make sure that we have a good working relationship with our surrounding cities as well. One, because again, if folks are coming to our area, if they're working in our area but live in other areas, we want to just make sure that, again, everybody is feeling seen and heard. And also that if we're working with other mayors or other township presidents or whoever it is, that we're coming together to say this region, right, has resources. This region is attractive to people, and we want to attract and maintain or retain people in this area. And so we have to be willing to do it together.
Yep. Very good. What do you see as the strengths and challenges of our local business environment, and what opportunities exist to support local businesses?
Yeah, so when it comes to the businesses, I've been able to talk to business owners, myself included. But when working with business owners, some of the things that we talk about is the wealth divide of businesses and who has access, right, to financial resources or resources to kind of expand businesses easier, right? We all have the opportunity, but not everyone has the access. And I think that's something that has to be addressed in this area. In addition to, I want to make sure when I'm mayor that we're retaining businesses and doing whatever we can to ensure that businesses in this area feel supported and have access to really truly grow this community. The other piece for me, when I think of this question, is it also makes me recall conversations that I've had as we've talked about supporting businesses in this area, which is that La Crosse is an underfunded area when it comes to those resources. And we have to make sure that we're working with the Wisconsin officials and organizations that hold that money that tends to go a little south and bring it closer to home so that we can also make sure that we're tapping into those resources as well.
Thank you. How would you approach relationship building between the mayor, the Common Council, and city department heads?
So I think this is another question where it's all about collaboration. I think that at the surface, if nothing else, at the core of the work that we do has to be done with respect. So mutual respect. Even when we disagree, we still have to respect each other. We still have to be able to collaborate with one another. And the reality is, I can tell you this, for me, I've always made a commitment to working with people, whether I agree or disagree with them. And the reality behind that is I can work with someone, whether I agree or disagree with them, because at the core, as long as we're working towards a goal, that goal ultimately needs to be reached. And so when it comes to the mayor's office, the common council, the directors, our goal is to make sure that we're serving our constituents and making sure that we're serving La Crosse the best way we can and ensuring that we're making sure this community grows, that everyone feels safe, respected, valued, and that they set roots here and they feel like they can raise families here or whatever they want to do, but they should be able to do it and do it in a way that allows them to love this city as much as we do, right? As much as I do, and as much as I've grown to love this city. And so I think at the end of the day, for all of us, it's just a matter of making sure that we come together. And as mayor, that would be my responsibility.
Yeah. Thank you. As mayor, how do you envision yourself collaborating with higher education institutions in La Crosse?
So I have a unique experience with the higher education institutions. I'm a two-time alum of UWL. I'm also an alum of Western Technical College. I've worked at UWL, I've worked at Western, and I'm currently attending Viterbo University. And so I've been able to, and I've also worked in the school district of La Crosse. So I've been able to understand systems and understand how these institutions work. And the reality is, I think as mayor, one of the things I would be a strong suit is being able to bring all these institutions together to say, hey, everything that you do, you bring value to this city. And so if we can work together to make sure that our vision is the same and on one accord, I think that is what needs to happen. In addition, the reality is that higher education institutions are bringing the individuals that we need to be attracting and retaining right after they earn their degrees here. How do we hire them and keep them here and have them grow families here? As someone, again, initially I said, I'm leaving La Crosse. I'm not staying here. And I've decided I'm staying here. And I'm here and I've done the work. And now I'm coming to the constituents and saying, hey, I want to be your mayor.
Good. Thank you. So you had spoken a little bit about housing. So this next question is in that same vein. Do you think there's a housing crisis in the city of La Crosse? And as mayor, what would be your priorities in the issue of housing?
Yes. I don't know necessarily I would call it a housing crisis, but I do think that we have a housing issue, right? There's the issues of the unhoused and the unsheltered populations that we need to be working with. And then there's also the idea of like building more affordable housing, doing renovations of houses, dilapidated houses, or making sure housing is up to code and things of that nature. And I think our city planning department does a great job and have been doing a great job with the CBDG money and things of that nature. And I just think that there's also some more innovative strategies that we can be looking into to figure out like how can we again make La Crosse more attractive to families? How do we maintain what we have going on? And then also, what does it look like for us to truly look at a variety of housing, right? Like not just one size housing. Not everybody wants to be in an apartment, but not everybody wants to be in a house. Not everybody wants a twindo, but also still making sure that we're building this community to where we are, again, attracting people, but then also not forgetting about the folks that are here.
Good. And last question, what is your understanding of neighborhood associations and their role in the city?
Yeah. So neighborhood associations, I've attended a few when I bought my house on the north side of La Crosse. I said, I'm gonna go to neighborhood associations and kind of see what they're about. It's my understanding that neighborhood associations are about building community, right? Getting to know your neighbor, but in addition, advocacy, right? What do we need in our neighborhood that's not here, and who do we need to talk to ensure that our needs are met? And so I think as mayor, I know that it would be extremely important to work with our neighborhood associations. And also, I would say it would be important for us to elevate our neighborhood associations, right? So ensuring that everyone, renters, homeowners, et cetera, has access and are utilizing and feeling comfortable going to neighborhood association meetings. But then in addition, as mayor, setting up meetings with whoever the association presidents are, maybe monthly, meeting with them, talking with them so that I can have a grasp on what is going on with our neighborhoods and what do they need.
Yep. Well, thank you. So we've come to our end of our time today. On behalf of our civic engagement partners, I just want to say thank you to Shaundel for coming and engaging in this community conversation with us. And we wish you the best of luck on Election Day.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.